supposed to happen in the country with an aim of ending the political impasse or standoff?
Last week I was with your friends in a long way. I did mention that the issue of elections dispute and causing all this is only part of it. The general picture is dissatisfaction among the people. They're not satisfied, and this has been piling up for a long time. So the issue of the head of the Electoral Commission there is just part of it. So I think what we need to do, really, one is to really calm down the hearts of the people. Two is to address the critical issues that people are unhappy with, immediate term, long term. But we need to bring about a sense of solidarity, a sense of the sharing properly the things that we have. We need to bring back a sense of belonging to the nation among the people. That's the real thing. The satisfaction is far much deeper. So we should continue. But we, as religious leaders, I think our big role really is the prayer. And that's what we're doing tomorrow. We think that is our role. For the other thing that we can do, I would call upon the CSOs, I think, to continue calming down the tempers of the people. But the government and all those who participate in developing the country to make sure that the way things are done, everybody feels he or she is part of this nation, and that they belong here and that they are cared for. I think it's a very difficult job, but it has to be done because the problems we're seeing now are not just about the election. It is far much deeper than this. So that would be what I would say.
What is it that you have to say to the country's leadership with an aim of making sure that the country enjoys the stability that the people in the country or across the globe know Malawi?
I would say that it is very easy, of course, to target the president and say he should do more. But I think I would rather like to say all structures of government. We have just come out of elections. People have just elected their MPs, and where are they? Where are they? What are they doing? So I would say that I think it has to be the entire leadership of the country, the entire machinery really has to address this. But the president, I'm sure, is aware of the problems that are there. And but he needs to be supported by the whole structure of, we were here, people complaining about problems, and they're trying to resolve the peace, the problems that we have. They were complaining that there are MPs that are not there. I'm sure it's true. There was no MP here. So it's easy to blame the president, but what about those who work with him? What about those who work with him in the party and the government? So I would say it's a call for the entire leadership, the entire government machinery, to look into this issue. But people are complaining, 100% really, and something has to be done. But I wouldn't like to sit down and list what they have to be done. But this dissatisfaction has to be addressed. It risks destroying the country completely if we don't address it. So we are, as a church, however, we're very committed to play our part. But our number one responsibility ourselves is to pray, is to talk about God. And so we will do that. We do other things, but our number one responsibility really is to intercede on behalf of the people for the intervention of God. I think this is what we're doing, and this is what we'll be doing tomorrow.
And finally, you also said that where there is injustice, there is no peace. Maybe can you try to expound on that?
Yes, this is a standard teaching of the Catholic Church and the social teaching. There's no unjust society which is at peace. It can only be at peace for a couple of years, or sometime at one point it breaks down. So it means you must, as a country, promote the common good. Whatever is there, everybody must feel that they are taking part in it, everybody that they are equally treated, that there is a rule of law, that there is transparency. All these issues must be very clear, fairly felt by either the family, the village, the district, or the country. But there can be no peace in a country where there's rampant corruption, there's rampant impunity, there's rampant segregation and marginalization of nowhere in the world, the whole world. There's none. There's none. Such a country is building on sand. It will collapse. Even your own family, if there's no justice there, fairness, and listening to one another, I don't say it should happen, but your family is at risk. Your marriage is at risk. But it's a golden rule in the Catholic social teaching which you can't dispute. There's no family where there's no justice and no transparency, no fairness that can survive. And so no nation can survive.